呢一度咧就係 Lynn Canyon 嗰個 Suspension Bridge， 好耐冇嚟啦。嗱，呢度咧就係過嗰條鐵索橋，幾多人？呢條唔使錢嘅。嗱，嚟到 Lynn Canyon 咧，我哋就會見到呢個 Ecology Centre。你睇下 Wildlife Tree， 帶你哋睇一陣啦。我哋今日咧其實就參加咗一個2個鐘頭嘅 hiking， 咁咧就係由佢哋嘅 Park Ranger 咧介紹呢個 Lynn Canyon Park 嘅。嗱，呢啲係標本嚟咯，嗱，睇下。我哋一陣間咧就會參加個2個鐘頭嘅 tour， 介紹呢個，有人帶我哋行，介紹呢個 park 嘅。咁如果未夠鐘咧，我帶你入嚟行下呢個 Ecology Centre 生態嘅中心。咁呢度咧就有位泊車嘅，3蚊1個鐘。我喺個碼頭影幾袋，真嘅係咁大嘅。呢種雀就成日見到，趁住呢度冇人，我哋行個框。喺啄木鳥咯，有時都見到嘅。我有一次喺 Central Park 度見到有個啄木鳥咧，好近。你見到呢啲咧就真係好特別嘅，因為好少會見得咁近。呢啲獨菇啦，呢啲橙色嘅。Mushroom Kingdom， 個電視有個 moss grows very slowly to 15 meters。咁佢其實解釋得好清楚嘅。我哋有時睇嗰啲腳印咧，已經知道有啲乜嘢。好似呢個腳印咁咯。原來係 beaver 嘅腳印，佢前邊腳，呢個應該係後邊腳。呢個咧，呢個咩嚟？呢一隻貓毛，呢一隻係啤啤啊，睇下先。唔係喎，酷嘅。哇！呢隻先係啤啤嘅腳印，係啦。呢隻啤啤嘅腳印。呢隻烏飯啊，我睇我哋。我哋有時要憑腳印啦，憑佢嘅大便啦，我哋就知道佢究竟喺邊度活動。同埋我哋即係盡量避開啦，係咪？Trees and raccoon， 我哋食乜嘢嘅 raccoon 啊 ，orange mouse， 即係叫做一物治一物啦，係咪？咁啊，跟住咧呢個 water cycle 點解形成 ocean evaporate 上咗個天空，跟住又形成雲啦咁。呢個 flying squirrel 啊，識飛嘅呢隻，哇做得好似Northern flying squirrel 睇唔睇到？呢隻係 red squirrel。 後邊呢隻咧 Grey Squirrel 好大隻喎。Where does the water go? Rainwater 又會點樣去 ？Rainwater toxic 嘅 ，toxic 嘅就紅色嘅，其實應該 treat 過先流入大海。嗰啲頭骨咧 ，very educational。啲小朋友可以慢慢睇，教佢哋好多嘢就可以。Black bears。熊嘅叫聲啊，好得人驚喎。係啦，呢度就係 Suspension Bridge 啦，我哋而家過去。
Everybody, so they can take their time if they want. If you want to just motor on, so I totally understand.
OK。冇晒啦。哦，佢換過晒啲木喎，喂穩陣好多啊！以前真係搖到我暈。It's not too bad. Oh, they strengthen it. 嗱，冇咁搖啦！我以前啊，真係啲木都爛啦，話俾你聽。Am I on the camera? Hi. 哇！呀，啲水3層嘅喎，1、2落到去底。哇！我而家 secure 好多，哇！以前搖到你傻啊！以前係好搖，而家係 secure 咗好多。以前我話俾你聽，啲木咧，呢度係木嚟嘅，都爛嘅。而家好好多啦。好啦，咁呢條 Lynn Valley 啦 ，Suspension Bridge 好短嘅啫，一陣間行完。好啦，我而家過咗對面岸啦。好，過咗橋之後咧，我哋繼續行。今日嘅目的地咧就係個 Twin Bridge Loop。
There's a rainfall here, so that's much taller than I am because I'm only about 1.5 meters tall. And we have Douglas fir. These two are great examples of Douglas fir trees. So that's one of our main kinds of conifers. Conifers are trees that don't lose their leaves in the winter. They just lose needles and scales throughout the year. And one of the ways you can tell a Douglas fir from the other kinds of trees is this really thickly ridged, deeply ridged bark. So the bark is really thick. It can be from like fingertip to elbow. It's really good at fire prevention, helping protect the tree from forest fires, also insect infestations. And when we find a smaller one where I can show you what the greenery looks like, it's more like needles. Kind of looks like a bottle brush, is how I like to think of it. The needles sort of surround the branch, and it looks like quite a stiff bottle brush. Another conifer. This is the western red cedar, and you can tell just by looking at the bark that it's a red cedar because it's got that really sort of stripy looking bark that you can pull off really easily. And if you look at the greenery, it has scales rather than needles.
Is that going on to the branches around that moss on it?
Yeah, that's good.
It should be.
Moss is good.
Yeah, okay.
What's not good is ivy. You'll see ivy crawling, growing up the trees. It's super invasive. We have lots of school groups that come and do restoration in the park, and what they're mainly doing is pulling up ivy because it will kill the trees. Another conifer, this is the Pacific yew. Okay, this one's actually poisonous. But when you're looking at first glance, they don't look that different from each other.
Which one's the hemlock?
That one's the hemlock.
The big one?
No, this little scraggly one here.
Oh, that's
So hemlock has got really, it kind of looks like it has bedhead. like it hasn't combed its hair.
Yeah.
You'll notice the difference between hemlock and the Douglas fir is that the Douglas fir's got these beautiful needles that are like right the way around the branch.
Yeah.
The Douglas fir just looks like it hasn't bothered to comb its hair in the morning. Its needles are kind of everywhere. It's like a top. So their head, it's like their head is hanging.
This one is the poison.
Yeah, this is the yew. And if you could, I can't really reach that one right now. But the needles on here are a bit more uniform. They're all pointing in the same direction, whereas the hemlock's not.
Isn't hemlock? They
Yeah.
talk about like famous people. Didn't Socrates have to drink hemlock to die? Like didn't they execute him that way?
Yeah, I thought so.
Maybe it's a different kind of
Yeah,
hemlock.
that might be.
跟住我哋要轉右咯，行條斜路，少少斜嗰陣。
Looks a little bit similar to holly. It is not, though. The leaves are not as sharply prickled. This is called Oregon grape. So in the summertime, there is like a little berry that forms on it here. Yeah, and you can eat it. It's like a purplish, reddish color.
It's like red curtains, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can eat them. You can harvest them. So yeah, this one is fine. We're happy with that one. It's the holly that we don't like. That one's the
Okay,
invasive.
Linda, when we come
But
through
Oregon
here.
grape is
Yeah,
fine.
in summer.
You probably notice lots of these guys. Yes.
Fern.
So this is a fern. This is called a sword fern.
Yeah.
We have about 8 different species of fern in the park. The two that you'd see the most are sword fern, which is everywhere, and it's got the really long stalks. And if you flip it over, you can see, well, we've already got some spores forming, and that's how ferns make more of themselves. But at the very base of the little leaflet where it connects to the stem, it's got a little, I always call it a thumbs up. That's how I tell the kids. And that's how you can distinguish sword fern from other kinds of ferns.
Ah,
Yeah, it's like
interesting.
it's the
thumb,
handle of
yeah.
the sword. Yeah.
And this
So-
one, what do people can use it for? Like, have you ever
No, we don't tend to
Use
use
it for-
this one. I mean, sometimes when kids find one on the ground that's not attached to the plant, they pick it up and they like to play fight with it. But no. This one would feel nice. These ones don't smell as much.
Yeah.
It's not huckleberry, sorry, salmonberry. Do you guys know salmonberry?
Salmonberry.
Salmonberries, they look like little raspberries. They're like the same shape and size, except they're not as bright red color. They're more of a salmon color.
Are they sweet?
The bears love them.
Oh.
And people can eat them. I've eaten them many times. But from where you're standing, but the bark is quite green on the vine maple, and that means that the plant is still photosynthesizing even in the winter time. So despite the fact that it's lost all of its green leaves, it still photosynthesizes and makes itself some food in the winter time. And they look like a little maple, but they're quite small. They're only about that big, the leaves. The broadleaf maple, which we also have in the park, the leaves are big. They're like that. So we're looking at second growth here, but these stumps are more old. They're providing homes for invertebrates that live in the forest or other plants that are living on them. Lots of fungus you'll find on
好多嘢睇喎呢度。而家起咗咁多呢啲咧，未行過喎。
係舊嘅。
嗰陣時。
boards in to stand on them and cut the trees down. Oh, okay. And so lots of the old stumps that you see, if you look around them, you can find.
Linda,
Yeah.
That little section, and then the deer fern, the whole leaflet is joined to the stem.
Okay. I know what.
this is a
what
sword
you mean.
from the one they talk about. These are different.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they have some kind of
Yeah.
zigzag
Yeah.
shape.
Well, if you look, it's easy to see. See how it's joined to the stem? The whole leaflet is joined
Yeah.
to that little stem. Whereas this one, you've got that extra little
Like a
bit
sword.
there. It's the sword.
Yeah.
Which one is short fern?
This is sword fern.
Yeah.
So this
Deer fern.
Deer fern, yeah.
Yeah.
You know? You don't like it? It's okay.
in it. Those are from woodpeckers. They're looking for insects.
What tree is this one? What tree is this?
This is a Douglas fir.
Oh, Douglas fir.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
No worries.
Douglas
See, you
fir
can see that
先至
the
有
bark is
啲
really
gap
deeply
嘅。
ridged.
Yeah.
And you see that one over there, the big one?
Yeah.
That one's more stripy bark, so that's our western red cedar.
Oh, whether
Cedar. This is Douglas。
Douglas fir.
Douglas 咧，佢會藏好多嘢喺度。
係啊，佢
會
嚇 crater 咁樣
嚇，即係好似好巢嘅。係啦係啦，咁你記得 Douglas fir。
Oh, edible?
I don't know.
I
It's
think
been
they're.
eaten by something. Maybe a little Douglas
I
squirrel
think the
or
oyster
something.
mushrooms.
Yeah. But that one is, it's not a shelf fungus. The shelf fungus are really firm and you will know the difference. This one's a little bit, if you want to take a look,
It's soft.
It's quite soft and kind of,
It reminds me of the oyster mushroom.
yeah. And I was doing a walk with a mycologist a few months ago in the fall, and he informed me, and I trust him, that it is safe to touch all mushrooms in Canada. It's just not safe to eat them all. But safe to touch.
I
okay.
agree because you could touch it, but if you don't put it to your mouth, that's fine.
There's the-
They don't even have any buds really on them yet. But
This is the one that you can eat. I forgot the name.
see the difference between that and the sword. Woody feeling, I guess.
有啲好硬㗎，有啲 it's like a
That
wood。
is our
Yeah.
the start of a red-belted polypore. So these are the ones that get quite big, and they look like a little shelf.
It's just like
coming
a
out of
little
the tree.
umbrella, right?
Yeah, these ones, and
They're
there's,
edible, isn't it? That the
you
type?
I believe you can eat these, but I don't think they taste very good.
No.
There's
But if
some
you
little,
put herbs in it, it'll be okay.
yeah, of course.
And butter.
There's some more little mushrooms. They're not polypores though, but they're on the other side as well.
Okay, I'm not
The
gonna
very
go through
starts
it
of them.
without
But
it.
this is not a great time for mushrooms. Fall is much better. In the fall time, I mean, we have mushrooms all year round, but it's in the fall that we really see the fruiting bodies.
咁呢條
Those are the same tree we see.
係啦，it's everywhere。咁呢條 train bridge loop 咧都幾好行嘅。嗱，好多人跑步啊，
They're tiny. They're white when they first come out, and they turn a bright red color.
呢食嘅
They do huckleberry jam.
Yeah, you can make jam.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
huckleberry
You can.
呢一棵。
They're a great little trail snack when you're hiking on the trails.
So you start picking on them. Right?
Yeah.
啊，呢一種就係 huckleberry，不過而家未有㗎。咁我哋就繼續行啦。咁一路有佢個講解。啲路唔算話好難行嘅。咁咧，而家我哋就一路係落樓梯嘅，希望一陣間唔使上翻嚟，應該唔會，應該另外一條路上翻嚟嘅。
Other guys, right?
哇！啲水好靚啊！所以佢話 Twin Falls 即係有兩個 falls。
係啊，好 nice 啊！
好大水啊！哇！呢個 falls 走嗰陣，
That one there, and then further down. Well, this is so good.
有啲人喺度玩。講緊三文魚啊！三文魚佢上唔到嚟呢度㗎啦，最多係喺呢一度。啊，最多係呢度嘅啫，係之後最多係呢度，過唔到㗎啦。再嚟呢度咧，佢冇辦法再上㗎啦。 咁佢就會喺嗰個位啦，嗰度生蛋啊咁樣咯，喺嗰度逗留。不過而家唔係season。好啦，而家要行上去啦，睇完啦，我哋個貓仔就講咗三文魚啦，嗰個 life cycle。好啦，而家上啦，再睇一次，呢個就係 Twin Bridge。再影下相啊 ，Twin Bridge。Twins Falls Bridge 啊，應該係即係媽嘅瀑布啊，瀑布嗱，呢度一條瀑布，哇！唔好再好辛苦啦，我哋提先睇下。好啦，而家我哋一歸程啦。都係咁啫嚇，有樓梯已經好好啦，如果唔係就好難行噶。我哋頭先咁樣行過上嚟啦，繼續。
Oh, yeah.
嗱，呢個就係
So all of these ones that are been
Woodpecker.
topped, I'm sure there'll be homes for woodpeckers or woodpeckers looking for food.
篤嘅地方。
Yeah, pretty. They're pretty violent.
係啊係 ，yeah
You've ever
yeah。
seen here? They're looking for bugs more. These ones might be nesting places for other little insects, or sometimes the holes are bigger and then maybe bats will use them. Seeds that you find in Douglas fir cones. So you can tell a Douglas fir cone because it's got these little tails on their scales. Can you see the little, you can see it on yours, those little tails? So what they do is they'll sit on the tree, on a branch that's high up or even one that's maybe a little bit lower, and they'll sit there with loads of cones and just pull all the scales off to get the seeds out. And then they'll end up with a big pile of scales, and that's what we call a midden. Sometimes what they'll do is find cones that they are not ready to eat right now, and they'll hide them in the midden. It's kind of like a cold storage for the squirrels. That's what a cone looks like before the squirrels have got to it. And then once they're finished, they really strip it bare. There you go. There's one in process here. So this is called a cone cob.
And which part of it do they eat?
So they pull the little scales off and there's seeds inside and they eat the seeds. Yeah, they don't care about the scales. They're sitting here. And even one on the fence.
Oh, it's a mini one.
Yeah, they're really tough. You can touch them.
What is that called?
Red-belted polypore or red-belted conch.
Oh, they're pretty hard.
These are just the shelf mushrooms, yeah. They're called red-belted polypores. So you'll see some mushrooms have got like gills underneath them. The polypores have got little holes, tiny holes. And that's how they release their spores. By woodpeckers. Yeah, they're like birds. Called the pileated woodpecker.
哇 ，woodpecker 都搞成咁嘅，你搞到呢棵樹咁樣。好啦，今日嘅視頻又做完啦。歡迎大家 subscribe Lynn Loop，跟我一齊繼續遊山玩水啦。拜拜。